Hi guys, an engineer here. I found dozens of videos about maintaining my 2008 Kawasaki Ninja 250, but almost none about my 2009 Yamaha R6S. Today I'll show you how to change the oil, then I'll edit the video so it looks like I knew what I was doing all along. You'll only need to remove the bottom fairing from your bike. I took off more than I needed to because I didn't read the instructions correctly. Be sure to remove the fairing from both sides and under the bike. As you can see, step 1 says to remove cowling B. Now, cowling B is listed as part 1 in the figure above. And step 4 says to remove the engine oil filter cap and drain bolt. I think that's the engine oil filter cap. Remove it. And here's the messy part. We have to remove that little thing there and let it drain. All I've got is a milk jug, but I guess we'll see what happens. I guess I should be wearing gloves, but oh well, who cares? Too bad, so sad. I just realized how I could have prevented the spill. I could have taken the drain plug out first, and then removed the engine oil cap. If I had taken this thing out first, if I had taken this screw out first, then it would have been like putting a straw in a glass, and then putting your thumb over the top of the glass and lifting the straw out of the glass. The water still stays in the straw, even though the bottom is completely exposed. Okay, the next step is to remove the coolant reservoir cover by removing the bolts. This is the coolant reservoir cover. We have that bolt there, that bolt there. Let's remove them. Step 6. Remove the oil filter cartridge with an oil filter wrench. Here's the oil filter here, the oil filter cartridge. For an oil filter wrench, You could go to Home Depot or Harbor Freight, pay about 20 bucks for a special doodad thing. Or I just use my torque wrench. No cheater. So we've already loosened it a little bit. You can see more oil coming out. Tighten it back up. And when you take the oil filter out, there's still some dripping from the filter. Still some oil dripping from the filter. As a brief product review, you'll notice the old filter was a K to N filter. It has the knob on the end that I used with the torque wrench. The new filter is a high flow Filtro filter. You'll notice there's no bolt here for the torque wrench. Be careful of that. Anyway, step 7. Apply a thin coat of clean engine oil to the O-ring of the new oil filter cartridge. And we have the rubber O-ring here. The rubber O-ring there. I'm going to cheat a little bit here. Have a napkin from a fast food restaurant. Pour just a little bit onto it. Like this. A dab there. And just rub it around. Looks like I might need a little more. Do that again. That's a thin layer. You want a thin layer? I gave him a thin layer. Now step 8. Install the new oil filter cartridge with an oil filter wrench, and then tighten it to the specified torque with a torque wrench. Now, the oil filter cartridge requires 17 Newton meters, which is about 12 foot-pounds. Right there, I believe. There's a bolt there, okay. Now there's a bolt there that sticks out a little bit. So that's not too bad. I tend to get things uneven at first when I screw things in. Okay, step 9. Install the coolant reservoir cover by installing the bolts. Those were the same 2 bolts we had over here. Here's the one down here. A little easier to do it this way to begin with. I've already started to install it. And we have another bolt up here. I can get that in. There we go. Step 10. Install the engine oil drain bolt and then tighten it to the specified torque. The specified torque is 43 Newton meters, which is 31 foot-pounds. Going to reverse the orientation. And we'll put it back on. Let's see, step 11. Refill with the specified amount of the recommended engine oil, and then install and tighten the oil filter cap. Let's see, this calls for 10W40. Okay, now we're ready for step 11. refill with the specified amount of the recommended engine oil, and then install and tighten the oil filter cap. Let's see, I am using Valvoline motorcycle oil 10W40 per the specifications, and it says to use 2.4 liters, let's see, 2.54 quarts without the, when we don't change the oil filter cartridge. But I did change the oil filter cartridge, so I need to use 2.75 quarts of oil. Just like that. Check for leaks. Don't see any leaks. We're on to step 12, which is to start the engine and then let it idle for several minutes while checking it for oil leakage. I'll do that later. If oil is leaking, immediately turn the engine off and check for the cause. Well, that's generally a good idea, unless you want to blow up half the block. Step 13. Turn the engine off and then check the oil level and correct it if necessary. Step 14, install the cowling. Now you saw that the next step is to put the fairings and cowlings back on. I'm going to cheat because you can see that it's very dirty. So I'm going to use some spray cleaner and polish to clean that up before putting it back on. And because it's been a while since I've looped the chain, I'm going to loop the chain at this time also. That's all there is to it. Just a few simple steps will keep your bike running for years to come. Just don't drop your Allen wrench in your bike like I did. Let me know what kind of videos you'd like me to make, whether about civil engineering or touring the Southeast Washington or Northeast Oregon area. Until next time, this is an engineer saying, be wise, be bold, be civil. And where's that Allen wrench?